What is up, everybody? Welcome to the First Period Power Rankings podcast here. And today we're going to be going over everything that went down in the first period because this is the most surprising thing I have ever seen in my life. Is the way the games are ordered in from first to last. Because the leaderboards are nothing like everyone would have expected. Name one person that would expect the leaderboards to be the way they are after this. Like, you're going to be surprised, utterly shocked on what the frick just went down over the first 5 days of the season. Well, let's get into it. Welcome to the Power Rankings. How this works is I've used math to calculate which position every game would be in if they were all to compete in the same league and get the same amount of streaming time. So, for example, if you're a 45-minute stream, your views are quadrupled because you are only a quarter of the length of a normal stream. And that's basically how that works, is that each league has been boosted, and it's time for me to go over the power rankings. We're going to start from the bottom and work our way up. Starting with the probably the most shocking thing in the entire power rankings is who's in 20th. In 20th place actually went to Fortnite. I know what you're thinking, I'm crazy, but getting 30 views in 3 hours is pretty bad in today's standard. And Fortnite seems to not get the memo that they need to get more than 30 views. And not to mention, the next season's theme isn't going to be good either, which it's bugs. And I don't know what's going down with Fortnite. I don't know what has happened with them. Their stream was on Monday, so I don't know if that's part of the problem, but it's summertime, so it shouldn't be. But Fortnite just seemed to shut down. It's an utter shock and disappointment for anyone who's a Fortnite fan, because getting last place in the power rankings is absolutely unpredictable for a game like Fortnite. This game is in Class S. You can't continuously do that to yourself or you're going to get relegated, my friend. So you already know who's going to be in last in that freaking leaderboard, as Fortnite just clearly doesn't get the memo. Next, in number 19, is The Sims 4. The Sims 4 is not really multiplayer, so I understand why this is this low. The Sims 4 has some problems of its own, even though it's free to play. Nobody would want to watch a life simulator game like this. Like, The Sims 4 just doesn't cut it. Either they just don't cut it. So they too are in the window of being utterly bad. Except they're in Class B. So a performance that, if The Sims 4 continues to perform the way they're doing, they're going to be relegated to Class C next season. So you don't want that. You really do not want that at all. In 18th place belongs to Brookhaven. Although we did get a couple of viewers to join us to play Brookhaven, the stream still sucked a little bit. Brookhaven, there's nothing to do in the game. You literally just drive around the map with a car or just do whatever. It's a roleplay game. But it's not fun. It is not a fun roleplay game because there's nothing to do. There's no schedule. There's no events that you can do. There's nothing. There's really nothing. Like, I had to find something to do in that game last time for the last few minutes of that live stream. Because, I don't know, I couldn't do anything. Like, what can you do in Brookhaven that makes it fun? There's a reason this game is in 18th, and that, my friends, is why. Now, Brookhaven has finished in 4th place this period in Group B, so they're lucky that they're lucky that Sims 4 is worse than them. Because Brookhaven, in my honest opinion, is more boring than The Sims 4. Next, in number 17, although this game had a little bit more views, Destiny 2 still failed to deliver. And Destiny 2 has received 17th place in the power rankings, and I could just tell you why. The game is overly complicated. Everything is like a complex jigsaw puzzle in that game. Today's generation doesn't like that kind of stuff, as is proven by games like Grow a Garden, Steal a Brain Rot, and all kinds of games that are just simple. You just do 2 to 3 things. That's simple. Destiny 2 is the opposite of that. There are tens of millions of things to do. However, it's overly complicated. Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, I don't even know what I was doing in the last few minutes of that Destiny 2 stream because I didn't know what to do. Like the Arms Week event, I think that's what it's called. It's the most confusing thing ever. I had to think, and look things up on the internet to find out what they were. Because I didn't know what the frick I was doing. So, Destiny 2 gets 17th in the power rankings, and that is pretty much our games that are in the bottom of the table. Now let's move to the lower mid table. Starting with 16th place, we get Anime Last Stand. I honestly don't know what the heck this game made the schedule for, but Anime Last Stand is not very fun. Because it's just a tower defense game. It's another anime tower defense game. There's so many of them nowadays. It just doesn't work. And now in the game that I'm playing right now, I finished up with that stream, and guess what? I didn't have a single troop that could attack air and flying enemies. Which makes no sense, because Goku can shoot a Kamehameha blast at it, but doesn't shoot it anyway. It doesn't make sense. The game doesn't make sense. And the fact that you can roll over 20 times and not get a single troop that can deal with air is stupid. It is really stupid. Yeah, I need air support in order to continue story mode. Otherwise, I can't do that. I can't continue story mode without air support. So I would have to find something that could give me enough credits to give me air support so that I can continue with the storyline. It's disappointing that you just reach a roadblock within the 4th level of the game. So if I was Anime Last Stand, I would just fix that, please. Give people starter stuff so that they don't get scooped up and die. Alright, moving up into number 15. In 15th went to Fall Guys. And oh boy, I could say why this game didn't succeed too well. There's just not a lot of game modes. Although it is fun, it's just that it's just not popular enough. It's not something everybody wants to play. I don't see Fall Guys doing too well. And that's, my friends, is why. For Fall Guys' case, though, they did add ranked mode, which made games a little bit more fun for me, because casual mode, I would almost always make it to the finale, or the semifinal all the time. Not if you're playing ranked. So I would give ranked a try. Like, this is the first time I actually enjoyed playing ranked mode. So go ahead and give it a try if you must. Moving up to number 14, the 14th spot belongs to Rec Room. This was a surprise to me because I thought they were going to rank a lot lower than this. But Rec Room, well, they're still lower mid-table, so they got a lot of things to work on. But I'd say the quality of the games, they're not as good as Roblox, but some of them are fun, though. Some of them. You just got to find the right game. I honestly wouldn't really know which ones are the best. But Rec Room isn't a bad game. But you just got to give it a try. However, the graphics are a little bit stupid looking on Xbox Series X. You should have better graphics than that if you want to be on an Xbox Series X. For crying out loud, it looks like I'm playing on a 360 for crying out loud. But 1080 is like the standard in almost all games nowadays. But 4K is even better. But if you can see the pixels in some aspects of the game, there's something wrong. The gameplay, though, it's really hard to find a game that you are interested in because there's just so many games nowadays on Rec Room. They've grown a lot since we last played the game back in a few years ago, so I just want to give credit for that. And then next up is Apex Legends in the 13th spot. In 13th place goes to Apex, and wow, I can't believe they're ranked that high. Because in the past, last year and towards the beginning of 2024, they were literally near dead. They were in last place before. Now they're in 13th out of 20, which is a huge improvement, but they're still lower mid-table. So, what is going wrong? Well, what's going wrong is they don't have solos. Still, after years, I don't know how many times it's going to take before they actually decide, hey, we should add solos to the game. I don't know why they don't have solos yet, but they should. Every other Battle Royale has it, except Apex, apparently. And another problem with the game is the bots in the game are either as skilled or better than normal players. Which makes no sense because no one's going to queue up for a match if the bots themselves are overpowered. Like, they need to fix that. Like, it's like the game is dead. The game is so dead that the multiplier modes are ridiculous. They really need to nerf the AI a lot because the point of having AI in the game is to fill in the spots that are missing by players that are not in game, not to join the game and destroy lobbies. Like they need to come up with something similar to Fortnite's skilled level in AI so that they can so that a player can take on another player. Or if you want, you can have the AI have different difficulty levels depending on the skill rating, because I've noticed that they've added the feature of being able to see the skill level of everybody in the lobby. Of course they put me in the bottom of that because I'm not good at shooter games, but the AI are still ridiculous. So the AI should scale depending on how good the lobby is. Not just be fixed to some absolute nightmare that no one can defeat. So that's just what I have to say. And that pretty much wraps up the lower mid-table. We're now headed to mid-table. In 12th place is... from here on out, everything is just average. Starting with Dead Rails. Dead Rails did Surprisingly okay. They did okay. Um, we've had a party of us we had like 7 people, 8 people join in a game. However, towards the end of the stream, though, everyone but me left the game, which is a quite problematic. Which people just get bored of the game eventually. But people do enjoy Dead Rails a lot, which is a good sign for them. And I would keep it up because Dead Rails is underrated right now a little bit, as they were pretty good. I'd say the mechanics of the game, it's challenging, it's fun, you actually get to do stuff, and that is that. Alright, moving on to 11th place. Some of you guys are going to be surprised about this one, and not surprised in a good way, because the game for the fans of this game is the people I mean by that, because Grow a Garden is actually in 11th. Now, you would probably think that Grow a Garden should be number 1 since they have the most players on Roblox. Wrong. Their view counts do not say so, as you shouldn't be getting 79 views as the number 1 game on Roblox. So, for that reason, they are in 11th. Because compared to the rest of the games in the schedule, they didn't meet up to par. As for Grow a Garden, we didn't really have... Yes, we've had full lobbies, but the problem with this is that the maximum player count in a server is only 5. They should have kept it at 6 or maybe even increase it later on, because streaming with viewers trying to play Grow a Garden is nearly impossible when your server is already full. Jandal, you should take notes. We've been asking for this for forever. Increase the server size so that we don't have this problem no more. Like, they do the opposite instead. They went from 6 down to 5. It makes no sense. You just have a random garden plot sitting there that no one can claim. Like, it's extra space that they could use for another player. But they can't even do that. They just rather keep it at 5. I don't get it. I feel like it's just like that's the only problem with this game, is that it's impossible to matchmake with other people. Not to mention, the events are super duper grind worthy. Like, I don't have time in my streaming schedule to grind to get all this stuff in the game. I have 20 games to attend to, not one. This isn't specifically a Grow a Garden channel. So basically, we're just not making a lot of progress for that reason as well. The only thing we really can do is buy fruits that are in stock, or buy gears that's in stock, or hatch eggs. I don't really see much else that I'm going to be doing in a live stream, like completing events or growing supersized plants, because apparently the supersized stuff happens offline, apparently. Because you apparently have to use some kind of sprinkler method and then leave the game. It's sad. It should be equivalent. You shouldn't have to be offline to actually do something in Grow a Garden. Like, I want to be able to stream while that's happening, but no, that's going to be something I do at the end of the stream instead. So, yeah, they're going to have to, I feel like they're going to have to do something about that. Alright, next up in number 10, this is surprisingly a little bit higher than I thought they would be, is even though I've been getting complaints in this stream, but Zenless Zone Zero is in 10th, and they're this high because they got like 20 views in 45 minutes, which If you multiply that by 4 times as much, that's 80. And that's on par to be in around the mid-table range. So, Zenless Zone Zero being this high is surprising, considering I haven't seen any multiplayer yet. But there's going to be some multiplayer later on. I know that. I think. I haven't gotten through too much of the tutorial, though, because I only have 45 minutes to do something in the game. But we will continue the playthrough later on, but that's going to take place next week on Monday. So yeah, that's going to be that. Zenless Zone Zero does have some good gameplay mechanics. I haven't really gotten too deep, though, so I really can't really comment too much on it yet. So, congratulations on getting 10th. And the next game is going to be one that's going to... The next one on the rankings is going to be one that doesn't make people happy. Because a lot of people would say this game deserves to be last. This game that I'm talking about is My Singing Brain Rot, who is placed in 9th place in the power rankings. Yes, somehow this game managed to place higher than Grow a Garden. Well, that's because people kept joining the game anyways, despite its name. So I feel like the community is a little brain rot right now, but maybe soon it would die off and My Singing Brain Rot will fall down the power rankings like it would. Because it's only the first period. And usually the first period we introduce new games in, so that's probably where their ranking's coming from. I don't really see My Singing Brain Rot staying in 9th place through to the end of the season, because it is the most boring game I've ever played in my life. It literally is. I hate to criticize games, but the game sucks. It's not good. I have to speak the truth. The audio has no melody, no instruments. It's just percussion and singing. That's it. You can't make a song out of that. Not to mention they only have 2 islands, but again, they are developing as a game, so I think they'll have more, but the way this game executed is not up to par with the rest of the games, but they get the views anyways. It's like YouTube, where underrated creators just don't get views, while the stupid ones get all kinds of views. Like, that's just how YouTube works sometimes. Alright, next up is... And now we're pretty much done with the mid-table. We're now going to be moving into the upper mid-table. And we're going to start with a game called Brawlhalla. Oh boy. Even though no one joined us in multiplayer, everyone enjoyed watching me beat people up with a stick. Now I've been beaten up by a stick too in that same stream, but it was a good stream. We've actually enjoyed playing Brawlhalla. There was all kinds of game modes. I didn't really do too much private matches because no one wanted to join, but other than that, Brawlhalla getting 8th place is actually not bad for power rankings. Maybe we'll have some people join us later on. As, again, Brawlhalla is a little bit underrated right now. Now, the next game that everyone would think is... The next one that is getting 7th place is going to be surprising to everybody. Roblox themselves. The stream where everyone requests Roblox games? Yeah, that one. That's the one I'm talking about. That one is currently in 7th in the power rankings. Previously, they've been so dominant that they would get 1st place almost every single period. But that all changed last season in season 6 of chapter 1. They won maybe once or twice. But now, I don't see them winning one. Because the games that are above them are all elite games. Like I say, Roblox did a good job. Um, but they just didn't do good enough to absolutely get first place in the power rankings like they normally would. But 7th is like a lot lower than they're used to being. So Roblox has some things to work on. David. I would start with firing David Baszucki or having him step down because he's part of the problem. With his online dating, but that's something that every single Roblox game has to worry about on the schedule, not just the game that's in 7th. But it's good to see that and the funny thing is the amount of views Roblox got is a normal amount of views that they would always get, which means a lot of games have just gotten really strong. All right, moving into 6th place. Now that we're above Roblox, it's gonna be some praise from here on out. Starting with the game in 6th place, Squid Game X, despite being not being the most popular Squid Game variant, they still are better than Roblox apparently. Squid Game X has even though we had some technical issues in the stream, people still supported the game anyways. So I'm kind of glad that happened. The game rules is a little bit different though, which is cool. Different is better. And you want to know what league this game is in? This is a Class C game. A Class C game finished better than Roblox. And that is insane. Squid Game X is actually the best game in Class C as well because, yeah, they're the only one that's finished above Roblox technically. So Squid Game X, if they continue their path, if they continue the way they're doing right now, they will be promoted to Class B next season, and they will have longer live streams. So that's something that Squid Game X fans can strive for. Promotion. As promotion is a wonderful thing that happens to 3 games out of the entire schedule. 1 from Class C, 1 from Class B, and 1 from Class A. As well as promotion from winning a GA Cup as well, or just qualifying in general. That can happen too. But Squid Game X seems to be in that position. They're ready to be promoted, but there's still 11 more periods to go, so we can't finalize that yet. As I think they did well. All right, next up is Roblox Rivals. Roblox Rivals did very well as well. And the thing is, the game is actually fun. You get to shoot people. It's the only fun competitive Roblox shooter experience on the game. Like, it's actually fun. Even though I sucked at it most of the stream, it's still fun to play because there are accessibility features that makes it easier for people on mobile and console to play the game. Even though I still sucked at it anyways. Now, the disappointing thing is that even though Rivals did so good, they're still not in first in Class A, which means they could remain in Class A for another season. But they could be promoted afterwards because there's a game above them that seriously knows what they're doing. Alright, now we're moving back to now we're in the top of the bracket, or the top of the tables, the top 4 games. And the next one is going to be insane, but Rocket League is in 4th now. It's good to see that Rocket League is a living again. Because previously, they would always get last place in all the way back in season 4 and 5. There was a season I even had to remove them from the schedule because of their glitches. Well, not anymore, because Rocket League is in 4th out of all 20 games. Like, I never would have expected Rocket League to be ranking higher than Fortnite. But I think Fortnite's ranking is more surprising than Rocket League being where they're at right now. But Rocket League being in 4th place is a good sign for a lot of Rocket League fans. Because they've been through so much pain and misery over the removal of trading, the stuff that hasn't been added to the game, them being replaced by Rocket Racing, only for that to fail. Well, here's something to give pride in. You guys are in the top of the tables. And that's something to celebrate because Rocket League has been through too much. Yeah, they've also had seasons not being able to be played because the game would just crash. And there you go. Now Rocket League has officially made it in the schedule. And not only that, they are doing well in that schedule as well. I can't believe Rocket League actually did do so well. But at the same time, it's predictable. It was bound to happen. Like, there was millions of players waiting to play Rocket League in this entire world. But there was lots of people waiting to join my lobbies as well. Like, I even had to start a 1v1 tournament because we had more than 8 people want to play Rocket League. That has never happened before in this channel history until this period. And I just want to say, I'm proud of everybody for making that happen for Rocket League. Because this game has been absolutely bean-boozled by Epic Games for so long. And I bet you every Rocket League fan is right now laughing at Fortnite and where they're ranked right now in 20th. I feel like this is a revenge coming. And there was billions of people that said Rocket League content on YouTube is dead. The videos may be, but not the live streams. Because the live streams are just something special. Alright, we're now moving into the bronze place. 3rd place belongs to Ink Game. Ink Game is excellent. And they were so excellent that they have topped the leaderboards for Class B, which means if they continue doing what they're doing, they'll be promoted to Class A, which is a very good sign for Ink Game, as they've been good since launch. They've been the better game since launch. However, there is one problem. The jump rope does not work on console for some reason. I can spam the button and it doesn't do anything. Yeah, in order for me to get past there, someone would have to carry me. Like, someone would legit have to carry me. Because I can't press the buttons. I think the developers need to fix that, and then the game is perfect. Yeah, Ink Game is getting 3rd for that reason. Congrats for your being on the podium for the first period of the power rankings. And that would be that. Moving into 2nd place and the top of the leaderboards for Class A as well. The Strongest Battlegrounds. The Strongest Battlegrounds still gets a lot of views. They got 2nd place this time. Yeah, there is somebody better than them this period, but Rocket League, or not Rocket League, the Strongest Battlegrounds is, even though I'm bad at it, it's fun for everyone. So I'm glad that's happened. You know, I might just get, Plus. I might just buy, Plus for private servers. Because I feel like if I do that, it becomes even more fun. which would allow me to basically do anything I want in a private server. But that's not confirmed. I'll decide later. But I'm leaning towards actually getting it. So, especially since this game is on the verge of promotion to the highest league in all of my channel, Class S, which is going to be great for them. And now we're moving on to first place in the power rankings. The only game that forced me to reset the server 15 times because the server was full so many times. Forsaken. This game is absolutely spot on what should be a game. It's fun for absolutely everybody in the game. There's emotes, even there's modifiers that I could do. The private server plus thing that would have been in the strongest battlegrounds, well, that's free on Forsaken. You don't have to pay for anything on there. Because I ended up using some crazy modifiers to where everyone was a killer and it was a battle royale between killers. However, some of you guys lagged the game out so much that I had to end the round. So try not to lag the game out. There were some rounds where we played in a lobby for some reason. That was funny as well. It's just super iconic. It's like the most powerful game on this channel right now. Hopefully it stays that way. We don't know if it will or not because we still got a few more. We still got 11 periods to go, plus the playoffs, in case if your game does make the playoffs. Now, in case if you're wondering how the playoffs are going to work, the top 16 games in the power rankings at the end of the 12th period will be making the playoffs. So, that is basically almost everyone. The only 4 exceptions that would miss the playoffs would be Destiny 2, Brookhaven, The Sims 4, and surprisingly Fortnite. If Fortnite misses the playoffs, it'd be time for somebody to fire the development team from Fortnite because that's not something that should happen with a top title game like them. Sims 4 though, it's just as expected. Brookhaven, expected. Destiny 2, expected. Fortnite's the only one that shouldn't be down here because I kind of believe Anime Last Stand should be missing the playoffs. So, if we were to end the season today, the playoffs would look like this. We would have Forsaken go up against Anime Last Stand. We would have the Strongest Battlegrounds go up against Fall Guys. We would have Ink Game go up against Rec Room. We would have Rocket League go up against Apex Legends. We would have Rivals go up against Dead Rails. We would have Squid Game X go up against Kuroa Garden. We would have Roblox go up against Zenless Zone Zero. And then we would finally have Brawlhalla go up against My Singing Brain Rot. With the winners of each of the... How that works is that in the first 2 rounds, in the first round, every game will have 4 hours. Whoever has more points than the other, more views than the other, would move on to the next round, since everyone would have the same amount of time to move on. They would get that 4 hours. Same with the second round. Everyone will be reseeded at the end of every round as well to make things a little bit more fair towards everyone who has a specific preference in the game. In the second round, it's the same thing, except there's only 8 games in that round, 4 hours, and then the winner moves on. The third round, however, is when things get different. Instead of, when we have 4 games left, instead of having 4 hours, you will have 8 hours instead. And how that works is you will have an entire 8-hour day to score as many views as you can. On the following day, your opponent will go as well. Depending on which day you're on, and then at the end of the 2-day period, the winner would be the one with the most views out of an 8-hour stream, with the winners moving on to the final, and then the final will just be the same thing, 8 hours, and then after that, the game that wins it all will get a few bonus streams at the end of the season. So, good luck, guys, as the power rankings do matter, as well as relegation and promotion, so try not to get relegated. So yeah, that is this week's edition. That's this period's edition of the power rankings. It's been an honor streaming again. I will see you guys again on Tuesday for the second period power rankings, because on Tuesday is when, at the end of the streams on Tuesday is when the second period will end. So, I just want to say thanks for watching, or I guess not watching, but thanks for listening to this podcast. We will see you guys at the end of the second period.